Hey everybody, Kurt Henry here, mortgage broker at the Mortgage Center. We are your go-to mortgage broker in the Durham region, and this is a weekly mortgage market update just to let you know what's going on in the mortgage market. So I just wanted to give a bit of an update on what's happening in the real estate and mortgage world these days. So the average price of a detached home in Oshawa in September was $756,000. Now if we compare that to May of this year, the average price in May in Oshawa was $855,000. So that is basically an 11.5% decrease in the average price from May to September of this year. In Clarington, as an example, it was instead of 11.5 decrease in that period of time, it was about a 7.2% decrease in that period of time. Now, having said that, if we look at a different kind of time horizon, so if we compare January of this year to September of this year, you'll notice that in Oshawa, the average price, for instance, in January of this year was $775,000, which means that the average price of a home in Oshawa in January of this year compared to September of this year actually decreased by 2.5%. Now in Clarington, the average price of a home from January to September of this year actually increased by 3.7%. So even though the price has been coming down since May of this year, they haven't actually gone down that much since January of this year. Now just for fun, if you want to call it that, you could also look at the prices in January of 2022. That's of course where the height of the market was, when interest rates were 2%. At that time, basically prices have come down from that time frame, from January of 2022 to September of this year. The prices have come down by basically 25%, both in Oshawa and Clarington. Again, if you want to take another perspective, you could say, we'll compare it to January of 2019, so roughly 5 years ago. At that time, the average price of a home in Oshawa was $483,000. In Clarington, it was $551,000. So if you do the math on that, you'll see that actually the prices since January of 2019, the prices have increased by 56% in Oshawa and by 55% in Clarington, which on a yearly basis is about 11% increase each year. And that's even with the decreases since May of this year and with all the volatility that's been happening. So that's kind of, a perspective. If anybody looks at the, price of real estate over a 50-year or 70-year period, you'll notice a trend line, and that trend line always goes up. If you zoom in on that trend line, it goes up and down, but it always trends upwards. And there's reasons for that. Inflation is one of them. Fact that incomes typically increase over time. Immigration, different factors, but there's reasons why the trend line always goes up, even though if you zoom in, there's the ups and the downs. The point is that if you're thinking about getting in the real estate market, do it, and do it for the long term. And if you do, you'll catch the trend line, which will go up, even if in the short term it goes up and down. Mortgage rates right now, to give you an idea, 5-year fixed rates are between 5.5% to 6.5%. 3-year fixed rates are around 6 to 7%, depending on the situation. So rates have been going up, which is why partly why real estate values have been coming down. And that is a good thing for buyers. The fact that prices are coming down is a good thing for buyers. There is a saying that goes, date the rate, marry the house, which means that if you buy the house when the rates are high, you will buy the house at perhaps a lower price than if rates were low. And the idea is that as the rates decrease at some point in the future, you can always break the mortgage to get the lower rates at that time, but at least when you purchase the house, you purchased it at the lower values. So just some food for thought. In the spirit of Thanksgiving, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that watches these videos. I've gotten some really good feedback, and wanted to say thank you for that, and also happy Thanksgiving, and I hope everybody has an awesome long weekend. All right, thanks everybody.